Greetings, colleagues, fellow teachers and educators around the world. I'm Nikos Sifakis. On today's Everything English Language Teaching, a topic that is very close to my heart. I consider myself a teacher-educator. I've been working with teachers, pre-service and in-service teachers for many years. And I've always wondered about this big question. What makes a teacher-educator a good teacher-educator? And the more I think about this question, the more I am convinced that this is not the right question to ask. Because it's not really difficult to think of the characteristics or tasks or the roles of teacher-educators, right? We are told about them during our university studies. We can read about these features in the books, textbooks, workbooks and other materials we come across in the seminars and workshops that we attend. We know that teacher-educators should be knowledgeable about the subject matter and skillful in communicating it to their teachers and teacher trainees. We know that they should be able to meet the demands of the teacher training seminars they develop, or that have been developed by others, in a university setting or in any other setting. And we know that good teacher-educators are eloquent and extroverted, but not egocentric. They are inventive with developing the right training tasks, impartial in their evaluation of assignments, experienced in what they do, but not self-centered. They should be reliable, observant of the trainees' responses, attentive and tireless in providing the right feedback. Some, including myself, believe that if there is a paramount virtue of a good teacher-educator, that is being a good person. Someone who has a genuine interest in other people. Someone who is sensitive to the needs of others and sincerely wants to help others. Good teacher-educators pay attention. They listen to teachers' concerns. They care for their teachers. They feel the huge responsibility of teaching and always do their absolute best to be of service. Good teacher-educators are, in essence, leaders of their training groups. But, for me, the big question here is not what makes a teacher-educator a good one. The big question is something else. It takes us back to the very beginnings. It asks us to address what we take for granted. It asks, very simple, what does a teacher-educator do? Now, that is a hard question. It's hard because it has an easy answer. What do teacher-educators do? Why, they educate teachers, of course. End of story, right? Well, yes, they do educate teachers, some of the time at least, but we need to go deeper. What does it mean to educate teachers? There are different responses to this question, depending on where you come from, what your perspective is. For example, one way to answer this would be to say that educating teachers consists in the transferring of knowledge and skills that are related to a particular field or subject matter. Teachers teach, and someone has to teach them how to teach. If that is the full answer to the question, then I'm sorry, but I really believe that teacher-educators are not that necessary. Teachers can learn how to teach in other ways, perhaps many of them better at learning the teaching trade, as it were. They can observe experienced teachers who will act as their mentors. They can study the way that these mentors teach and ask them questions. Study in extreme detail the very specific aspects of their teaching practice. You know, how to deal with motivating different students, how to ensure classroom discipline, and so on. Furthermore, they can follow online courses on teaching English as a foreign language. There are many very successful MOOCs available for free, organized by established institutions and professors who are international experts in all of these fields. They can join communities of teachers that have a special interest in a particular domain of teaching. For example, teaching younger learners or using technology. Don't get me wrong, all of these solutions are wonderful ways to learn about teaching and improve as a teacher. However, I am searching for something else that teacher educators do. Something that we have not touched upon at all since we started to talk about this topic. Something that is absolutely necessary if the teacher education practice is to be oriented in the right direction and be truly successful. Something that will make all the other characteristics and features of good teacher educators shine. To find out what teacher educators do, we have to go back to the basics. So my answer to what teacher educators do is very simple. Teacher educators help teachers deal with change. This, to me, is the most powerful and the most essential task of a teacher educator, and especially one working with teachers of English. What teachers of English know very well through their training and experience is how to teach English. We train them how to teach English in all its glory, from the 4 skills and their sub-skills to neighboring skills they will be needing, such as basic language research skills, library skills, and so on. I am also arguing that we can and we should integrate English language teaching with the teaching of the so-called transversal or life skills that are vital for our learners' survival in the 21st century. See my relevant video here. But what teachers of English should also be taught is how to prepare for change. Any kind of change. You see, society changes. Learners change. Subject matters evolve. The school system changes, albeit slowly. But it does. What is more, each and every one of us has their own personal theory of teaching, our very own understanding about what our job as teachers is. Let's focus on English. We are being told for many years that we should teach English as communication. Well, one thing to ask here is, do we? By the way, I'm discussing this here. And another thing to realize is that communication changes. Everything surrounding English, its role in the world, the gazillion ways of using it in different contexts, new words, new contexts, new people, everything surrounding English changes. And so everything surrounding English language teaching should change, and it does. Schooling as a system does not change as rapidly as language changes, but it does. It will, inevitably. So what does a language teacher educator do? They help language teachers deal with change. And this is far from simple. There's no textbook for that, but there should be. There are methodologies out there that define the process of engaging with change. We'll talk about these methodologies in other videos. If we are not helping our teachers deal with change, then we are not doing our job as teacher educators. We are missing the point. What we do is bigger and bolder than some of us have thought. What does dealing with change mean? It means expecting the unexpected, embracing the unknown. It means anticipating the anxiety that comes along with this state of mind. It also means welcoming critique. It means realizing that certain skills that we have and pieces of knowledge that we have stored have proved, well, wrong, and we should put them behind, erase them, unlearn them. Dealing with change means being open and being sincere with our inadequacies. But careful, not everything in English language teaching and teaching in general leads to rapid change. Some change, as we've said, is subtle. Learning itself implies the modification, however subtle, of the state of things in our minds. So learning itself is change, and change is growth. Only by knowing that change is inevitable and being able to deal with it will we be truly able to put the rest of our knowledge and skills surrounding English language teaching, everything we talked about earlier, to use. And that's why teacher educators can never be automatized or replaced by machines. And that is why, for all the above reasons, I and other colleagues are into teacher education. For no other reason. What are your own thoughts about what teacher educators do? How do you feel about what I'm arguing in this video with regard to change? As always, I really look forward to reading your perspective and communicating with you. Bye for now.